Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to episode 82A of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. I just want to let you all know, understand what this is. I'm Joe. He's Justin.
Yep.
Nothing's changed, except we don't have a Cup Series race to talk about. That race at Texas, I don't know what it is, but it just keeps raining and raining and raining.
Yeah.
And then I remember, we're still in year 2020. It's October 27th, 2020.
Yeah.
So, of course, this was going to happen. I'm just surprised that we didn't see this kind of rain delay happen when there were Wednesday night Cup Series races just 3 days after, like Darlington and Charlotte and Bristol, Atlanta, Martinsville.
Well, Charlotte, remember the Charlotte race was put from Wednesday to Thursday. And Darlington, there was rain at the end, which was interesting. The Xfinity race was put from Monday to Thursday at Darlington. Yeah. But it happened again.
And it happened at the most unprecedented time. The radar was okay on Sunday. There wasn't really any sort of precipitation on the radar. When we looked at the weather, the storm cells were almost non-existent.
But the thing about the rain, if people don't understand rain, some radars don't catch light mist. They catch more like the big, heavy rain. It was light mist that the radar was not picking up. That's what was happening on the track. It's like, at one point, it was raining in turn 1 and 2. 3 and 4 was dry, but 1 and 2 kept raining. And then more mist started coming into the racetrack, which caused these delays. Yesterday, it was not cooperating. Today, it was kind of cooperating, but at the end, it's like, nope, it's gonna keep raining.
Let's be fair. No one expected this. We thought, okay, Monday, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
We'll have the whole day.
Yeah.
The entirety. If there's mist, because apparently Bob Pocker says mist on the racetrack. When there's misty conditions, in usual terms, it comes and goes. It like in the summer,
Yeah.
Let's say the Brickyard 400 this year was very misty, but the hot temperatures turned mist away the other side, escorted out of the party.
Yeah.
But this time,
well, it's also
cold temperatures.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't help.
No, we're about 37 degrees Fahrenheit. What that be in Celsius? Like 2 degrees, 1 degree. Justin's doing that.
2.7, so almost 3 degrees Celsius. Which 32 Fahrenheit, if people don't know, that's 0 Celsius. So yeah, close to freezing temps, which it's not a good indicator for.
Of all places, Fort Worth, Texas, where you least expect you expect 40-degree weather, 50-degree weather around this time.
30s?
30s?
Well,
at Fahrenheit, absolutely not.
Well, at least if hopefully Phoenix doesn't have that. If Phoenix has rain, I'm going to question, where did this rain come from? It's like 2015. Nobody expected the rain at Phoenix in 2015.
When it came, it wouldn't stop. It was the epitome of downpour, just everything that could go wrong went wrong. And
oh yeah, and that was Dale Jr.'s final win in 2015 Phoenix.
2016 at Texas, Carl Edwards' last win in the NASCAR Cup Series happened in this kind of fashion, but at least they had the race.
Yeah. This time we've lasted only 52 laps. Clint Boyer. Yeah.
I'll finish there, Justin.
I was going to say, Clint Boyer's been leading for over 48 hours now. He has the lead. Like it just says Clint Bowyer just been leading for 48 hours.
All right, so the running order, before we move on to other topics, we'll get into Xfinity trucks and Formula One. We'll talk about the Portuguese Grand Prix and get into Lewis Hamilton's record-breaking victory. The 24 hours, as well as the IndyCar finale, where Scott Dixon clinched his 6th career championship. But before we move on, the running order of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Texas, 52 laps are complete, 52 of 280, with 282 laps to go. That's a 334 lap distance, 500 miles, the last 500-mile race of the year. Clint Bowyer is leading the race. This could be Bowyer's last best chance to get a win before the end of his Cup Series career.
Yep.
In the foreseeable future, Jimmy Johnson, same situation with Bowyer. Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time winner at Texas, is second. Eric Jones, whose future is now confirmed at Richard Petty Motorsports, is third. Joey Logano locked into the Final Four with his win at Kansas last week. Fourth, Mark Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch. In total, 52 laps complete, 34 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick is not one of them. He's 36, and what happened to Harvick?
On the restart, the rain was starting to come down a little bit on the restart. Kevin Harvick, running second, hit the wall. But right before that, Hamlin, he had problems. He didn't hit the wall, but got really loose. And Harvick hit the wall, had to pit. And Alex Bowman was leading a little bit until, so Harvick did hit the wall, had to make repairs on his car, which he couldn't under the red flag, but he came down under green, made the pit stop. That's why he's not up front where he usually is.
But unlike most of the drivers in the race, Kevin Harvick does have the fastest lap of a 28.978. He's the only driver to hit a 28 in the lap time during the Sunday portion of the race. Yeah. Obviously, the track will be completely different. It's very damp, cold.
Yeah.
A really tough job for those Air Titans doing all that work. I do want to mention there's one car that will not be part of the restart. J.J. Yeley crashed on Sunday for ROWE Racing. He finished 40th, retired out of the race. But everybody else is still active when the race will restart tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on NBCSN.
Yep.
So check it out. And let's move ahead and discuss the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So the NASCAR Xfinity Series had a very eventful race on Saturday, and it resulted in a bizarre finish between two drivers, one of which was fighting really, really intense to stay in the hunt for the 2020 championship, that being Noah Gragson. Many points below the cut line. A win would lock him in to the next the next phase of the Championship 4. Gragson would become a member of the Championship 4 and have a shot to win the title in 2 weeks at Phoenix. But then on the final corner, car got loose. Harrison Burton made a daring move on the inside. It stuck. Harrison Burton picked up his third career win, third of the season after winning stage 2 and leading 24 laps after starting 12th. Harrison Burton gets it done. Surely we expected Harrison Burton to be a member of the Final Four, but after a DNF at the Roval, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, which it was so interesting that people didn't realize Harrison Burton, he spun in the final stage into the grass, didn't hit anything, ended up winning, but also interesting about him, when they crossed the line on the final lap, Harrison was 4/10 behind Gragson. and then somehow gained so much time in 1 and 2 going down the backstretch. I never expected it.
Neither did I. And then Gragson, just a very dejecting second place finish. Gragson led 43 laps. He started ninth, car number 9, finished position number 2.
Yeah.
Gragson was the highest playoff driver, but it really doesn't matter because if you look at the standings, he's essentially in a must-win situation. Almost in a must-win situation. I don't want to get too fast, but looking at where the scenario is at Martinsville this upcoming weekend and all the uncertainties, especially with these cars and this track, I don't know. Gragson is going to need to win, but hey, his first Truck Series win was at Martinsville Speedway in 2017.
Yep.
So, those are good signs. I mean, we'll have to.
Yeah.
Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday afternoon.
Xfinity. Okay.
Yep.
Finishing third, Anthony Alfredo. Career best finish for Alfredo after crashing out in Kansas on his lid to 1 week later at Texas Motor Speedway, finishing in the top 3. And it seems like Alfredo has a shot to potentially race full time next year. It's not confirmed, and the sponsors don't look too well.
But also, this is actually, for people that don't know, that was his final start in the car, which Myatt's running the final 2 races at Martinsville and Phoenix. So, yeah, that was Alfredo's final race, but he really ran good. 3rd place. That's a really solid finish for him.
Yes, and Alfredo's put up decent numbers in the last few weeks, aside from the incidents he had, especially from last week and other races. I think Alfredo deserves a full-time seat in Xfinity next year.
Yeah.
He's shown the potential. 4th place, Austin Cindric led 10 laps. Austin Cindric in the playoffs hunt, but it's not enough. I mean, Cindric is plus 14. Yeah, that sounds fine, but it can easily go like
more. We could. Yeah.
Cindric does have some decency on the short tracks. 5th place, Brandon Brown. Congratulations to Brandon Brown, his first top 5 at best of his career for the owner driver. Brandon Brown started in 15th, gained 10 spots, finished 5th. Well done for the Brandon Brown team, the Brandon built Motorsports. Michael Annett finished in 6th after starting 10th. Justin Haley finished 7th, a playoff driver, led 3 laps and started 2nd. Not as dejecting as the teammate of Justin Haley. Ryan Vargas, career best finish for Vargas, first career top 10, driving in TikTok livery, unfortunately.
But
for, JD Motorsports.
Well, JD needed that sponsor.
Any sponsorship is good sponsorship.
Yeah, like they ran really good. That 6 car really helps with the money for the JD team.
Absolutely. How about Josh Williams for DGM Racing, the Mario Goslin-owned team? Another top 10 for Josh Williams in 2020. And Tommy Joe Martins, after 6+ years of racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, his first career top 10 in his own equipment. Congratulations, TJM.
Yep, that was a really good run by Tommy Joe. He was always trying. I've seen him run like 13, 12, 11, like around those places, but getting a top 10 in Xfinity and like that equipment is really a good thing.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
12th place, career best finish, Bailey Currie driving for Mike Harmon.
Yep.
16th place. Now on the other side, Ross Chastain. See, that's the nature of motorsports. Some drivers are celebrating a top 10 finish or even a top 15 finish, while others are considering their worst race of the year. And that is Ross Chastain, a 16th place finish after leading 30 laps, having the best car, perhaps the best car out there. All it took was one restart gone bad and contact with Justin Allgaier, and a 16th place finish for Ross Chastain has put Ross Chastain in 6th place, 15 points below the cut line, entering Martinsville. Chase Briscoe, who's locked into the Final Four, had a crash early in the race, but managed to finish 24th after starting on pole, many laps down after his contact. Briscoe is already into the Final Four race at Phoenix. Brandon Jones. Now this was obviously not what Brandon Jones, even though he's -4 below the cut line. Brandon Jones winning stage 1 was valuable to him in the points. Brandon Jones led 13 laps and retired, finishing 25th after starting 3rd. 26th place in that same accident was Justin Allgaier. Allgaier needed this performance. Although he's 8 points above the cut line, 8 points is very slim.
Yep.
Compared to what was expected for the NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers heading into this round. Allgaier led 35 laps and started 5th. His teammate Jeb Burton finished 30th out of the race after leading 7 laps. And Ryan Sieg, playoff driver, had a problem that took him out of the race, finishing 31st. So what does the playoffs look like? Well, as I mentioned, Chase Briscoe's already into the Final Four with that win. Austin Cindric is second, but he's only +14.
This close.
That Kansas race made the difference between possibly locking into the Final Four on points and now having to run the entirety of this next race with perfection at Martinsville with all the unknowns and not have a mistake in making it in the playoffs. The door is wide open here. It's more open than fans think it is. Justin Allgaier and Justin Haley are great examples here. +8, +4. Brandon Jones -4. Ross Chastain -15. And then it gets tougher. In 7th, Noah Gragson -24 points. And the only driver mathematically needing to win a race entering Martinsville is Ryan Sieg, -43 points from the cut line. So the second to last race of the Xfinity Series Tour will be at Martinsville, the first Martinsville race in 14 years for that series. I mean, round 32 of 33, and the final race of the round of 8. It will determine the 4 drivers that will make the championship cut. When we discuss Martinsville, we'll give you our championship 4 predictions. And that's what we really wanted to do when expecting to make this podcast, because the weather at Texas said, screw that.
Nope. We're just going to keep raining.
Yeah. Or misting.
Yeah, the mist. That mist was so annoying.
It's so
Carl Edwards. Carl Long's going to win. He's the only Xfinity driver that ran in 2006 Martinsville. Wait, I don't think that car's not going to be fast. You'll see him.
No.
You'll see him
might be the first driver to start in park.
You'll see him get lapped probably, and then he'll go in the pits.
All right. Moving on to the Truck Series. The NASCAR Truck Series race was a very eventful one, controversial, chaotic, and just all around intensity. This race at Texas, the Texas 400-kilometer event, the Speedy Cash 400, or for some drivers, the Speedy Crash 400, or the SpeedyCrash.com 400. If your name isn't Sheldon Creed, you left Texas miserable. Sheldon Creed won stage 1, led 131 of the 152 laps of the race. Just dominant after starting on pole. It's his 4th career win. He is now a member of the Final Four, joining teammate Brett Moffitt in the Championship 4. So Brett Moffitt from GMS Racing won the race at Kansas last week to be in the Final Four, or 2 weeks ago. And then last week, or Saturday, feels like last week, Sunday, I mean.
Yeah.
It could be Saturday or Sunday, but it's still last week. We're on Wednesday. Sheldon Creed joins his GMS teammate. So now half the Final Four is GMS Racing. Second place, Austin Hill, who avoided all the chaos. I was worried for Austin Hill. Every time I saw that crash, I'm like, please get through, Austin Hill. Please get through.
Yeah.
He made it through. Hill led one lap, started third, finished second. Zane Smith finished third after starting in the 6th spot. How about Rafael Lessard? First top 5 since that win at Talladega.
Yep.
4th place for the Kyle Busch driver. 5th place, Brett Moffitt, who was already in the Final Four, started 2nd, finished 5th. Matt Crafton finished 6th after winning stage 2 and leading 13 laps and starting 7th in that race. Austin Wayne Self. How about Austin Wayne Self? First top 10 in 2020 for Austin Wayne Self after starting 18th, finishing 7th. Well done for AM Racing.
Yep.
Dylan Lupton. Dylan Lupton's first start in a long time in the Truck Series, finishing 8th, driving for DJR Crossley Racing. Lupton started 29th. Derek Kraus led 2 laps, started 11th and finished 9th. And Tanner Gray rounded out the top 10 after starting 23rd on Sunday morning. All right, some of the other drivers. Tyler Hill finished 11th after starting 20th, his best career finish for the 2nd time in the Truck Series.
Yeah.
How about this? 15th place, James Buescher, the 2012 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion, makes his first start since 2015, Martinsville 2015. James Buescher started 36th, finished 15th. Yeah. Nice Motorsports.
The other 3 trucks had all issues, which Nice is not like before. People, nope, the GMS Alliance, the GMS Alliance stopped after Hallmark went to Toyota. GMS like, nope, we're stopping the Alliance. Which is like, they only have the Alliance when Ross is running. When Ross doesn't run, their trucks are not the best anymore, but at least they had a good season last year. This year, they're just trying to finish the season.
And I like that they're cycling through veterans. Trevor Payne, even Connor Daly, and heck, Travis Pastrana.
Yeah. Like next year, they're going to have one full-time driver. Carson Hosvar will be running full-time, which
reportedly Trevor Payne is going to join as well.
That's not confirmed, but Hosvar was confirmed, which I've seen. Carson Hosvar, he's been performing, in which he'll be running at Martinsville, which good by Nice picking some young drivers that are moving through these series.
Yes, fill the talent.
Yep.
Tyler Ankrum did not need that 16th place finish. He's now in a must-win situation entering Martinsville.
Yep.
The only GMS racing truck outside the top 10. Ben Rhodes. And we're going to get to Ben Rhodes in a minute here, but Ben Rhodes finished 20th after leading 1 lap and starting 8th. Ben Rhodes, after finishing 20th, is essentially in a must-win situation now. 45 points below the cut. We'll discuss that in a minute. Stuart Friesen. This is the truck. Stuart Friesen had a truck to win. It seemed like Friesen played the cards right, waited until a good moment late in the race, kept the truck clean early on, led 4 laps, crashed out, finishing 28th, retired from the race, making contact with Johnny Sauter. Sauter went low on Friesen, and the 2 veterans tangled, sending Sauter and the Niagara on the Lake Ontario driver into the wall, ending Friesen's day. And Grant Enfinger didn't need a retirement at all. And Ryan Truex finished 34th after crashing out. All right, see in the comments section, Tammy Lee says, Jimmy Johnson has my friend Arlene Perez on his windshield. She's an Air Force vet, and tomorrow is her birthday. I'm so proud to see her honored on JJ's car. Well, that is very special. And we always thank members for their service, ones who put their lives on the lines for this country. And speaking of Jimmy Johnson drove a car that was designed by Noah Lefty Sweet. And if you're not familiar with Noah Sweet, also known as Lefty, his nickname due to his, I think he's a left-hander. He's left-handed. Yeah, that's why his nickname is Lefty. But Sweet is a designer for cars in sim racing, such as NASCAR Racing 2003 season, also known as NR 2003, and iRacing, as well as other racing sims as well. And after facing online bullying and taking time off social media, Noah came back, and he's stronger than ever. And as a result, Jimmy Johnson and Noah Sweet were on a Zoom call. And after that Zoom interview, per request of many fans on social media, his design was on Jimmy Johnson's car at Texas this past Sunday, and it's currently in second place as we speak, since that red flag was displayed. And it's just a very refreshing moment. Let's not forget how great of a person Jimmy Johnson is. Yeah. Not just on the racetrack, but off the racetrack. All right. Truck Series playoff standings. Brett Moffitt, Sheldon Creed, the two best drivers at GMS Racing, are locked in to the top two spots in the Final Four, with wins at Kansas and at Texas. Austin Hill is plus 27 above the cut line, but that's not enough.
No.
Points is not enough.
No.
Oh, Tammy Lee says he's actually right-handed. He's called Lefty because of his love for cars turning left. Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, I knew something was wrong with it. But I get it. Yeah, that's really cool. Austin Hill plus 27 is not enough. Not in this series. Not with this situation in Martinsville. And what happened last year was pretty much the end of his championship hopes.
Oh, no.
2019. Zane Smith is in plus 12, fourth. Fourth in the standings, plus 12 above the cut line.
Oof.
Now, minus 12 beneath the cut line is Matt Crafton, who has a chance to tie Ron Hornaday Jr. And being the second driver to win 4 championships in the NASCAR Truck Series.
Yeah.
Ron Hornaday Jr. accomplished it in 2009.
Yeah.
Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, Tyler Ankrum are essentially in must-win situations. Minus 42 for Enfinger, Ben Rhodes minus 45, Tyler Ankrum minus 79.
Oof.
Now, briefly, I'd like to just to explain to the fans that are unfamiliar with what happened. Now, fans that weren't familiar with what happened on Sunday during the closing laps of the Texas Truck Series race between Ben Rhodes and Christian Eckes on the front stretch, battling for third place. Ben Rhodes in a good position amongst the playoffs, just need to complete the race, was in a physical battle exiting the backstretch with Christian Eckes, and resulted in Rhodes deliberately crashing Christian Eckes' truck into the quad oval outside safer barrier, bringing out a caution at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Post-race, Ben Rhodes had strong words about Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Oh.
And many fans did not take it too well, and neither did I. And I'll explain to you why I think Ben Rhodes is not a bad driver whatsoever, but this is how questionable this move really was can paint the picture for the future of a stock car career. And why is that? Last year, around this time last year, Front Row Motorsports knew nothing about 2020. They only knew that Michael McDowell will drive the 34 car, David Reagan retiring in the 38 car.
They didn't know who.
They didn't know who was going to replace him. And then the 36, Matt Tifft, suffered a seizure at the Martinsville track, which resulted in Matt Crafton driving the car, and then the unknowns for Texas and the rest of the year. That's eventually now where John Hunter Nemechek is.
Yeah.
But at the time, there were 2 spots open at Front Row Motorsports. And when I was asked who would drive the other car that David Reagan was departing before Rick purchased their charter, my answer was Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes is not a young driver in NASCAR.
No,
he's a very experienced driver. He's been in the Truck Series for the past 5 seasons, all for Thor Sport, and is a staple in the series. He's not a bad driver, but what he did on Sunday was awfully bad. Deliberately crashing someone going at speeds of 180 plus miles an hour should not be acceptable. While there are no fines or suspensions after the race and after the post-race altercations, as far as I'm concerned, the question really is, how will other teams view Ben Rhodes? How did Josh Bilicki think about Rhodes? And why is this a problem, Justin?
For me, it's not all on Ben Rhodes. It's not just the driver. There's also the team around him. Grant Enfinger, experienced. Matt Kraft and Johnny Sauter, which you don't realize what happened last year. Johnny Sauter was suspended. What did he do? He deliberately crashed Austin Hill, and he got suspended for a week. So people say Ben Rhodes, I'm like, look at Johnny Sauter. He's his teammate, and he's done stuff like that. Matt Crafton, he's been in altercations like
Gateway.
Oh yeah, that race. And Grant Enfinger's not been in much altercations. He's been in couple scuffles, but
they happen.
Yeah, it's like, but you have Crafton and Sauter, many years of experience, and they've done stuff like that, and some people actually find that okay for them to do it, but not Ben Rhodes. I'm like, so you're allowing Sauter to wreck Austin Hill? That's okay. But not,
okay. But I want to stop you right there. The real question is, what does this mean for the future of Ben Rhodes? If he wants to go to the Cup Series like I suggested last year, how will Cup Series teams view a move like that on Sunday? I mean, not only did Ben Rhodes crash Christian Eckes, but he also crashed his own chances at a championship. If you really think about where he's sitting in points, he might as well have been probably minus 18 or minus 20. Now he's minus 45. Creating damage and getting into another wreck on the final restart. Is it really necessary?
Well, I just
that
don't.
Is where I land, and we'll discuss that because the next race is at Martinsville, and of all places, short tracks mean short tempers.
Yeah, like, just I don't know, like,
the gloves will come off one way or another, and that's why fans love Martinsville.
Like, the thing about I don't know if it's just all on Ben Rhodes. There's also, like, like there's also people like pressuring him. Like a lot of fans are pressuring Ben Rhodes,
Of
which
course.
that doesn't help at all. Yeah, sometimes his crew chief yelling at him. TJ Majors, like his spotter, sometimes talks like a lot. If
Yeah,
you
high
don't,
expectations.
yeah, that's a little bit high expectations. And he's racing with veterans. Like I know he Grant Enfinger ran some races before him, but like Sauter and Crafton, they are champions in the truck series. And they usually you expect high expectations if you're a teammate of champions. It's like those people that expected Eric Jones to win right away compared to like have more wins than like Kyle Busch, Truex, and Hamlin, which doesn't make sense. It's like those people are pressuring Ben Rhodes to be like really good as Kraft and Sauter. I'm like, do you realize he has less experience than these? Like Sauter has enough experience, same as Crafton. They have really more experience, which they're pressuring Ben Rhodes, which he cracks under pressure a
They're a
lot.
top team. Four of those trucks here are all fast.
Yep.
They're representing Ford out there. And by the way it looks, all of them have trouble this year. Johnny
Yeah.
Sauter
Oh
didn't even make the playoffs this season.
no. He just had looked like he had an off season.
Johnny
That
Sauter and Stuart Friesen were both out of the playoffs. I expected them to make it when the green flag
yeah.
dropped at Daytona.
Well, and then Crafton, who's been somewhat decent, he's not in the next round so far.
No.
Like, then you have Grant Enfinger with a blown engine, which really didn't help. He's now below. Ben Rhodes with some races he just has incidents. And I just realized Ben Rhodes has had 3 different incidents. He had 2, and now this is the 3rd time he's gone to Todd Gilliland. And it was at Texas, the first incident gone the.
Right. One more question here. I'm going to let you explain what is the cause for the hood to go up on all the ThorSport trucks in the middle of the race. Elmore engines and these Fords, especially in the truck series provided by ThorSport, have seemed to be problematic. Can you explain to those watching why that is?
Okay. The thing with these Elmore engines, guys, if you don't understand, Elmore engines are what ARCA Menard Series started using in 2015. The Elmore engine is a different type of engine. Like the Elmore is like some sort of engine, and what it's okay. Like Elmore is like it's like some sort of like IndyCar engineering engine. It's not like a NASCAR, Chevy, and Toyota engine. But this Elmore engine is not. It's like it can't. What sometimes like it would never work in like top series because the thing with these Elmore engines, like after like many, like you can't push the engine too much because it would have issues. Like example, Las Vegas, 2019. These Elmore engines, 3 ThorSport trucks had issues. Sauter, Enfinger, and Crafton, which the Elmores, the ARCA teams, ARCA uses these engines.
They're
They,
not bad engines whatsoever.
but it's just like they can't go too far on limits. Like ARCA, they don't have races that are long. Like the truck series, their longest like number of laps, 250 is their most they've ever ran, which is Martinsville. But like they've run at Talladega, Daytona, they've run at 200 miles per hour. Like you've seen them run fast. And if you are in like a pack of like a pack of trucks, like if you're in a pack, if you don't get out of there to get clean engine on the grill, that's where your engine is not going to last too long because it
Right.
overheats fast.
Well, this upcoming weekend, it might be a good race for one driver, but unfortunately, if he wins, he won't have a chance to make the Final Four, and that would be Johnny Sauter. We'll make those predictions later when we preview the race at Martinsville, which is round 22 of 23, the final race of the round of 8, which will set the stage for the 4 drivers that will be in the 2020 NASCAR Gander RV Outdoors Truck Series Championship finale at Phoenix.
Yep.
All right. F1. The Heineken Portuguese Grand Prix was the first Portuguese Grand Prix held since 1996.
Yep.
Long 24-year drought has come to an end, and it's the first time that the Algarve circuit in Portimao, the Portimao circuit, used in a Formula One Grand Prix event. Lewis Hamilton makes history, and this time he breaks history.
Yep.
Hamilton was the fastest driver out there. Fastest lap, led 46 laps from the pole. His 97th career pole, 161st career podium, 8th win of 2020, and more importantly, his 92nd career win, surpassing Michael Schumacher's improbable record at one point of 91 Formula One Grand Prix victories. Hamilton just had a bizarre weekend.
Yes, he did. Like some of the practices, you looked, he was not that fast. Q1 and Q2 he got beaten, but Q3, impressive Q3. That lap he put just Valtteri, people like nobody's gonna beat his lap time. Lewis just somehow just made a fast lap time, like he just really performed on his lap. And then in the race, lap 1, he lost the lead to Bottas. And then on lap 2, Sainz got the lead because they were on softs, which the softs are different than the mediums. Then Bottas kept leading from lap 6 to lap 20. Lap 20, on the front stretch, Lewis had DRS. Bottas literally went near the pit wall in the dirty, like, part of the track. Don't know why. Lewis made the overtake, took the lead, and never looked back. Then he pitted and all that, and won his 92nd career win in Formula One.
And everybody talks about who's the greatest Formula One driver of all time. And I'm going to leave that question for later as we go down the classification here from the race. Second place, Valtteri Bottas. Now, Bottas led 16 laps after starting second. His 54th career podium and double points for Mercedes. That's obviously going to help them in the World Construction Championship. They haven't clinched it yet. It's just a matter of when.
I heard next week if they at least get 17 points next week, like
easy,
they'll clinch it. If they get at least. Hopefully they just want to get through the weekend without having their cars break down or issues. Just want to have Bottas probably. It's probably people are going to say Bottas is going to be fast in practice. Lewis will beat him in qualifying and in the race. We'll see because there's only one practice session at Imola.
Right. How will that affect the sequence of the weekend? Max Verstappen started third, finished fourth. Third is 40th career podium. Fourth place, how about Charles Leclerc? Great run for Leclerc. Last car on the lead lap. And fifth place, Pierre Gasly. Good run for the Italian Grand Prix winner. Gasly started ninth. Sixth place, Carlos Sainz Jr. led the first 4 laps of the Grand Prix. After starting 7th, he finished 6th. 7th, Sergio Perez started 5th, finished 7th. 8th and 9th, how about the Renault drivers? Double points finish for Renault. And Esteban Ocon 8th, followed by Daniel Ricciardo 9th, Valtteri Bottas.
Valtteri Bottas.
Sebastian Vettel.
I'm like, Bottas finished second. I'm like,
tired, Justin, please.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, okay, Vettel did not finish second.
Sebastian Vettel finished 10th. And once again, double points for Ferrari, but it seems like every time they get double points, the other car only manages to finish 10th and get one championship point.
It's like, and also, if I just realized that Vettel was 11th for most of the time. Vettel, if he didn't make the overtake on Raikkonen, he would have got 11th behind Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo. Like, it's so weird. It's like, Ferrari's interesting. Charles is saying his car's drives good. Vettel says the car's, like, loose in the back of the car. Like, it feels like it's just, like not secured in the back of the car. And which is kind of interesting. Which, like, Charles is just there up front, 4th, 5th place. Vettel's just, like, struggling with his car. He's always trying to get to do other strategies, which some of them work, some of them just don't pay off at all. And Ferrari, I don't know. Ferrari's got upgrades. They got upgrades. Charles, it looks like they got upgrades. Charles was fast. Vettel qualified 15th, which is not a good indication for one car's better than the other. I don't know. People are saying that Charles got the upgrade, Vettel did not. I'm like, I don't know. We can't tell if they did. We can't go ask Ferrari because they won't tell us.
Tia Binotto doesn't give clear answers out anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so the drivers missed out on points. Kimi Räikkönen. Now, Räikkönen had a wild first lap, an eventful one.
Yeah, he started 16th. He was running 6th. He just was running 6th for a bit, and then, yeah, he was on softs. The mediums took a while, then the mediums started gaining, and his soft tires just at the end just couldn't keep up. That's why he fell back down the grid from when he was 6th.
Alex Albon, 12th. No points for the tie driver and Red Bull Racing Honda equipment. 13th place. Now, this is unfortunate. Lando Norris. No points since Tuscany. So, the double points finishes that McLaren has really banked off this year. Norris started 8th.
Yep. Yeah, after the contact with Lance Stroll, which sent Stroll spinning.
Right. 14th place, George Russell started and finished 14th. Antonio Giovinazzi for Alfa Romeo Racing finished 15th. Kevin Magnussen, 16th over Roman Grosjean, who finished 17th after a time penalty was handed to him. Nicholas Latifi finished 18th after starting 20th. Danny Kvyat, 2 laps down, finished 19th and out of the race. Retired was Lance Stroll, who on lap 51 had damage.
Yeah, which
Racing Reference calls it an under tray.
Yeah.
Like on an airplane, you pull down an under tray. They tell you can't have it down until the takeoff is finished.
Yeah. Like the thing about how this weekend went was interesting. Like practice 2, when Stroll did not have a really good weekend. First in practice 2, he gets spun by Max. And then here gets spun by Lando, and then gets damaged, retires. It's like he hasn't raced in, he didn't race at the Nürburgring. There was other races he didn't even complete the first lap. Russia, he crashed on lap 1. Mugello, the last time he finished the race was Monza. Not retired. Mugello, he retired. Russia, he retired. Nürburgring, he did not even run. So, yeah, the last time he finished a race was the podium at Monza, because then he crashed at Mugello, finished out. Then he finished, then he retired on the first lap at Russia. Nürburgring couldn't even run. Then here he retires again.
All right. So the next race is the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola, the first race at Imola since 2006,
Oh, jeez.
around 13 to 17 in the World Championship. Now, the World Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton, 256 points. Valerie Bottas, second, 179 points for Bottas, minus 77 for car 77.
I just realized that.
Max Verstappen, 162 championship points.
Nice.
For the Red Bull driver, Daniel Ricciardo. Now this is very interesting here. From 4 to about 6, it's a battle, a slight battle for the fourth spot in the World Drivers' Championship. Daniel Ricciardo, 80 points, now minus 5 from Ricciardo. Charles Leclerc, and minus 6 from Ricciardo is Sergio Perez. 7th place, Lando Norris. Minus 191. He's got 65 World Drivers' Championship points. Alex Albon, 64 points. Pierre Gasly, 63 points. In 10th place with 59 points. Carlos Sainz Jr. catching up in the World Drivers' Championship. Now, the World Constructors' Championship also has a few battles. Yes, Justin.
I wonder who's leading.
Mercedes. Now, you said they need just 17 points to clinch the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah. They're just, yep. We're walking away from the competition. We're walking away. Goodbye. That's what they're basically doing.
They're in another universe. Mercedes.
Yep.
F1. 435 points, and then 226 points is Red Bull Racing Honda in second in the World Constructor Championship. Now, third, this is where the interesting stuff begins here. Between third and fifth, about 6 points. Racing Point, BWT, Mercedes, 126 points. McLaren, Renault, 124 points. Just 2 points behind the Racing Point is in fourth. In fifth, minus 4 points or minus 6 points from Racing Point is McLaren Renault, 124 points.
Wait, McLaren Renault behind McLaren Renault?
Behind, Renault, I mean.
You said
Renault, the factory Renault team.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, McLaren can't be behind itself.
Not the engine supplier McLaren team.
No, that would be weird.
All right, so Renault, my mistake, 120 points. That's 4 points behind McLaren Renault and 6 points behind Racing Point BWT Mercedes.
Yeah.
Now, in sixth place with 93 points, Ferrari.
Oh, jeez, they're not going to get...
Seventh place with 77 points is AlphaTauri Honda, which they have only scored two double points finishes. Yes, one with the magical win of Pierre Gasly at Monza, and the other with both drivers getting 8th and 9th at the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi. All right, 8th place with just 5 points is Alfa Romeo Racing Ferrari. 9th place with just 3 points, Haas Ferrari. 10th place with 0 points, Williams Mercedes.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that I'm just looking through, like, it's so funny seeing just, like, I remember people are saying about Ferrari will get third in the constructors. I'm like, Charles is scoring points. Vettel's only getting, like, 1 point, which that really doesn't help to get to third place in the constructors when your teammate gets 1 point and you're finishing fourth. Like, and it's the same thing with AlphaTauri. Like, some races, you see, like this race, Gasly got 5th. Where was Kvyat? 19th. Like, that doesn't help them trying to catch Ferrari. They're just have one. It's so weird. They have 1 points finisher. The other one doesn't score points. It's kind of odd.
All right. Stay tuned for later in the podcast. We will preview the upcoming Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola Circuit. At the Autodromo Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, the track named after the legendary Enzo Ferrari and his son Dino Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yep. Moving on to IndyCar, the season closing race, the St. Petersburg Grand Prix was to start the 2020 IndyCar Championship, but instead marked the sudden cancellation of all sports. Then that same week, Justin,
Yep.
we had no idea in the second and a half week of March where everything was going to be in about 10 months later. Or 8 months later, on 10/27/2020. But luckily, because Florida makes the right decisions, we had a street course race in the year 2020.
Yeah.
Which resulted in the St. Petersburg Grand Prix in a very decent weather condition. Joseph Newgarden versus Scott Dixon for the championship. Newgarden seeking his third championship, Dixon seeking his sixth. In the end, it was Scott Dixon winning his sixth career championship. But Newgarden won the race. He didn't win the battle. He won the race. Newgarden led 21 laps, getting his fourth win of 2020 after starting Newgarden's 18th career win and 35th career podium. So well done for the Penske driver. Just so close to winning a championship. Very unfortunate that he didn't get the job done. Pato O'Ward. How about Pato O'Ward? Finishing second. His fourth career podium, second time of career best finish of second. Pato O'Ward started sixth. He'll be back for Aaron McLaren SP in 2021. Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon started 11th and picked up his 122nd career podium. And with that, his sixth career championship. Well done for the Kiwi. Scott Dixon won the championship in 2003, 2008, 2013, 2015, 2018, and this year.
Almost messed it up. He almost messed it up.
He almost messed up. But
yes,
yeah, because a four-time champion, Sebastian Bourdais, was chasing him down. Bourdais will be driving for AJ Foyt full-time next year.
Yep.
Yeah, Bourdais, his best finish of 2020, finishing fourth at the track where he's won twice. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Newgarden won twice at the St. Pete Grand Prix, and all the winners who won twice at the St. Pete Grand Prix won consecutively.
Yeah, and he did too. 2019. At least then, this time he didn't have a lap car in front of him. Marco Andretti, like last year, Marco was just blocking. I'm like, Marco, move. And he finally moved after like 5 laps.
All right, running down the order. Ryan Hunter-Reay finished 5th, started 19th. Not the season he intended for, but
not the best compared to usual.
6th place, Simon Pagenaud, outperformed by his Penske teammates in 2020.
Yeah.
I think his best tracks were wiped out with the pandemic, so that negatively affected Pagenaud. Marcus Ericsson had the fastest lap after starting 15th. He finished 7th. Charlie Kimball, 8th. Graham Rahal led 2 laps, started 17th, finished 9th. And Takuma Sato rounded out the top 10 spots.
Yep.
11th place, Colton Herta. Now, Herta led 9 laps and ran into trouble, but he managed to bring it back to an 11th place finish. Max Chilton's finished 12th. Alex Palou led 1 lap and finished 13th. James Hinchcliffe led 3 laps, started 4th and finished 14th. Rinus VeeKay clinched his Rookie of the Year battle after finishing 15th despite contact with Scott McLaughlin. Oliver Askew, 16th place finish in his last race with Arrow McLaren SP. 17th, Connor Daly. 18th, Felix Rosenqvist in his final race with Chip Ganassi Racing. The Swedish driver will move to Arrow McLaren SP in 2021. 19th place, Jack Harvey, and 20th place, Marco Andretti. The first retirement of the race. Second retirement of the race was Alexander Rossi. Now, Alexander Rossi made a big difference between who won and who didn't win this championship. Rossi led 61 laps, which enabled Rossi to get the most laps led award for extra bonus points. Now, Newgarden had the most laps led, and for some reason Dixon didn't finish third. The championship would have most likely went to Joseph Newgarden rather than Scott Dixon. So Scott Dixon can thank Alexander Rossi for leading those laps in the race. Scott McLaughlin, another Kiwi, who is a championship driver from Supercars, a three-time Supercars champion and the Bathurst 1000 winner from 2019, who won all three of his championships for DJR Team Penske, made his IndyCar debut for Shell V-Power Racing livery, crashing out, finishing 22nd. He had a decent debut, getting a hold of that car. McLaughlin will race full-time in IndyCar next year. And with that move, Team Penske has pulled out of Dick Johnson Racing in Supercars. So Dick Johnson Racing is back on his own. Fabian Coulthard announced he left the team. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, Scott McLaughlin, first race in the States. Expect a bright future ahead for the driver who really ran out of things to achieve in Supercars, to be fair. I think Scott McLaughlin is like the Kyle Larson of Supercars. Kyle Larson ran out of things to achieve after winning the Chili Bowl this year on dirt. Kyle Larson, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he was winning when he was not racing NASCAR. He was just winning so many dirt races. It's like, okay, can he stop winning in dirt?
Santino Ferrucci crashed heavily into the Armco guardrail and luckily walked away. And Will Power, who led 4 laps from the pole after scoring 61st career pole, crashed out and finished 24th, last place in the race results. All right, let's get into the final championship standings. Now, Scott Dixon won his 6th career title, as I mentioned, 2003, 2008, 2013, 2015, 2018, and 2020. Dixon is now 1 championship away from tying A.J. Foyt, 7 championships, more than any other driver in IndyCar racing, American Open Wheel Championship car racing as a whole. And you know what's so cool about that race? That A.J. Foyt, 85-year-old A.J. Foyt, was there in attendance, looking really healthy, watching a driver like Scott Dixon come close to beating his record. Now, A.J. Foyt also has another record that Dixon could reach. 67 wins. Will we see that? Who knows? Dixon only has 50. He's 2 wins away from tying Mario Andretti for second on the all-times list. So, if you want to make early predictions for 2021, there you go.
No.
Scott Dixon.
Well, I'm just realized now. Newgarden has to switch his number again back to the number 2.
Scott Dixon
doesn't run
change.
1. But
the
thing
champion
is,
can only run number 1.
Yes, he because the reason that Newgarden he chooses the 1, but like for him, when he ran there in 2000 and what year was it? 2017. He replaced Juan Pablo Montoya, so he's back with the number 2. Just realized Newgarden's only won the championship with that number 2. He might be lucky. That lucky number 2 might give him the 1 again.
Right.
We'll see.
And if you're not familiar with that rule in open wheel racing, the defending champion has the right to reserve car number 1. Now, not everyone does that. Lewis Hamilton, I don't think Lewis Hamilton ever raced with car number 1.
No.
He always defended his championship with number 44.
Yeah, and I guess that one thing that in the old championship in Formula One, like when they did if the champion retired, like is that some races Damon Hill drove the 0 because the previous champion, the previous champion was not on the like retired or something like that, stuff like that, the team would run a number 0. But I guess if that championship would have been in place, Mercedes would have ran the number 0 and the number 2, not the 1. So if that
so Hamilton could have run the number 0 in 2017 is what you're telling me.
Yeah, if that rule, like the old championship and Bottas number.
Let's move along and let's go down the final standings in the top 20 of the IndyCar National Championship standings results. Scott Dixon, as I mentioned, 6th career title. Joseph Newgarden was just 16 points shy of his 3rd championship. Colton Herta, Pato O'Ward, Will Power, Graham Rahal, Takuma Sato, Simon Pagenaud, Alexander Rossi, and Ryan Hunter-Reay were your top 10. And 11th through 20th, Felix Rosenqvist, Marcus Ericsson, Santino Ferrucci, Rinus VeeKay, Jack Harvey, Alex Palou, Connor Daly, Charlie Kimball, Oliver Askew, and Marco Andretti were your top 20 in the final standings. Now, Rookie of the Year honors went to Dutch driver Rinus VeeKay.
Yep.
Who is trying to become the first driver since Robert Doornbos in 2007 to win an IndyCar race. Alex Palou finished 2nd. Alex Palou, the Spaniard, 2nd place. 3rd, Oliver Askew from Jupiter, Florida, and Dalton Kellett from Ontario, Canada. 4th. Manufacturer standings. Honda won over Chevrolet this year.
Yeah.
Up 22 points compared to Chevrolet. 1,099 points, or 1,019 points. I can't even remember how many. Indy Lights was not held in 2020.
No.
2021. Their schedule was actually announced.
Interesting.
Keep track of that for next year.
Interesting.
They omitted the Freedom 100, the most notable race of the Indy Lights schedule, which supports the Indy 500. But they've added doubleheaders and other races that you should keep some track of. Indy Pro 2000 Championship was won by Stingray Robb for Juncos Racing.
Wait. Stingray Robb?
Yeah, that's his name.
Okay, interesting.
US 2000 National Championship, Christian Rasmussen for Jay Howard Driver Development. Indianapolis 500 champion Takuma Sato for the 2nd time in his career, 2017 and 2020. And the Oval champion went to Scott Dixon for Chip Ganassi Racing. So there are your superlatives for IndyCar at the end of 2020. That was an interesting season, Justin, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was really interesting. Yeah.
Doubleheaders of Indy 500 in August.
Okay. Stingray Robb, I found out who he is. He's from Boise, Idaho. He's 19 years old. So he's born in the same place that Brian Scott's from. Interesting. What? I never knew this. He ran 4 K&N West races, 2016 and 2018.
Cool.
With a best finish of 10th. Interesting. I never knew he ran K&N West, but interesting.
Yep, he won the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. So maybe he'll get a seat in Indy Lights next year.
Yep, and their next race, the opening race for IndyCar, will be St. Petersburg on NBC, March 7th.
How it should be.
And not Singapore.
Yeah. You still
like last year.
Calling the
last year
Grand Prix the Singapore Grand Prix.
Well, we know that's. Well, F1 schedule is not going to be out until later We'll see what races they'll have.
All right. We're going to cover sports cars now in the 2020 Spa 24 Hours.
Oh, jeez.
Was anything but an ordinary Spa 24 Hours. I found the results on Wikipedia. They're nicely organized, the way I like it.
Yeah, my pick did not do good at all.
We almost saw a case of Toyota Le Mans 2016 all over again.
Yep.
What happened to Porsche on the final lap?
I don't know. I really
I'll
don't.
tell you. Their drivetrain started falling apart on the final lap.
That is
in rainy conditions.
You don't want that at
the onboard was choppy.
Oof.
You could hear like
yeah. And one thing, you don't want that at the thing about Spa. It's a 4-mile track. 4-mile track.
You don't get away with it at Spa or anywhere, but they got away with it. Nick Tandy did a brilliant job. Nick Tandy, Lawrence Van Tour, and Earl Bammer for ROWE Racing Porsche, number 98.
Rover? I thought it was ROWE Racing.
It's not ROWE, it's ROWE Porsche.
I thought
Porsche. It's a
I thought you said Rover, like a Rover, like a Range Rover. I'm like, no, Rover Racing. Interesting.
Yeah, they ended up winning over the number 66. Now, the heartbreaker is actually that Audi team. There was at least one more lap, or even just one more lap, or one more half lap. They were gaining time on that Porsche, not the 99, the 66 Audi Sport team. Attempto, Patrick Niederhauser was catching up on Nick Tandy on that final lap, but in the end, it wasn't enough. That ailing Porsche won the race, and Fredrik Versvich, Mattia Drudi, Patrick settled for second. So the 3 classes, the top 10, we'll start off with the GT3 Pro, the regular GT3, the GT3 AM, and Pro Am, then Silver. So third place was the number 54 Dynamic Motorsport Porsche. Matteo Carelli, Sven Mueller, Christian Engelhardt. GPX Racing, the team that won the Coppa Florio 12 Hours of Sicily, that was about 2 weeks ago in the 24H series. Matt Campbell, Patrick Pile, Matthew Jaminet, the Porsche factory drivers, helped that GPX Racing entry finish 4th overall. 5th place, number 51 AF Corsa Ferrari. 6th place, those are the number 25 Audi Sport team Santella. 7th place, number 4 Mercedes AMG team HRT. And 8th place, the final car on the lead lap was the number 22 Fricadelli Racing team Porsche. 527 laps were complete within 24 hours of the Spa circuit. That's a lot of laps.
Yep.
Especially with rainy conditions and all the safety cars and all the curveballs that these drivers were going through, the teams, and shows you the best of the best. 9th place was the number 29 team Honda Racing, Honda Acura NSX GT3. And 10th place was the number 3 K-Pax Racing Bentley, with the Bentley drivers behind the wheel. In the Pro-Am class, the winner of the Pro-Am class finished 15th overall, the number 77 Barwell Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo, driven by the Collard father-son duo, as well as Leo Machiski and Sandy Mitchell. Ricky Rob Collard, number 77 Barwell Motorsport Lamborghini, finished 15th overall, but first in the Pro-Am class. 2nd place was the number 93 Sky Tempesta Racing 93 Ferrari, finishing in second with drivers Eddie Cheever III, Giancarlo Fisichella, Christian Frogan, and Jonathan Huey. Third place in that class is the number 188 Garage 59 Aston Martin. Fourth place in Pro-Am, number 488 Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. Fifth place in the class was the number 10 Goodson Gintnian Racing BMW M6 GT3. All right. In the silver class winners was the Haupt Racing Team Mercedes AMG GT3 that finished 18th overall in the race, number 5 car. Sergei Afanasyev, Michel Beretta, Gabriel Piana, and Herbert Haupt, the owner of the team, drove that car 520 laps complete, 18th overall, finishing second in the silver class was the number 84 HTP Motorsports Mercedes, driven by Philip Ellis, Russell Ward, and Indy Donchi. Third place in the silver class was the number 55 Orange 1 FFF.
55?
555.
I was about to say the 55 finished last.
Right.
Overall.
The 555 car.
Oh.
The Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo team fielded by Orange 1 FFF Racing Team. Fourth place was the Mad Panda Motorsport number 90 Mercedes AMG GT3, and fifth place in that class was the number 11 Team Parker Racing Bentley. So we saw raining conditions, a delayed start, and not delayed by rain. No, this was delayed by a crash of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Challenge that supported the race just an hour prior, and they had to fix barriers. Luckily, the driver was okay after that wreck. So, in terms of the Intercontinental GT World Challenge, the next race is the final race in Kyalami Circuit, which is in South Africa. On December 12th will be the fourth and final race of the 2020 Intercontinental GT World Challenge. We've seen it. We've seen it all.
Wait, how many cars were in this race again?
How many cars were in the race?
50-something.
56.
Yeah, 56. Because my pick didn't go too well.
Where'd you pick it?
53rd overall, the 34, the walking horse BMW.
As they say, all good things come to an end.
Yeah, they didn't. They're like, nope, we're not going to finish good. Like, I remember the 8 hours of...
They won 8 hours of Indy. Their drivers in that car won the 24 hours of Nürburgring this weekend a month ago.
It's kind of funny how... I remember I picked the Bentley team at Indy. I'm like, nope, this time I'm going to pick the team that won Indy. They don't win. I'm like, yeah, that's my luck.
Didn't BMW also win the Petit Le Mans?
No.
No, they didn't.
No, it was a Porsche. Wait, yeah.
Oh, it was Porsche, my bad. So maybe that was a warning.
It's like me picking the BMW number 25. They ended up running many laps, 32 laps down. So that didn't help anything. Yeah.
Well,
that's my luck with picking cars that win. I pick them and they don't win. They lose.
All right. We're going to cover MotoGP and ARCA before we preview the upcoming race weekend. Cover everything but Martinsville in the Cup Series. We'll leave that for part 2 of this podcast, which we'll have sometime after the Cup Series race in Texas, depending wants to happen, Mother Nature
and also
do
I
that.
don't. And if the weather's cooperative, we just need to know. We just have to the drivers not be wrecking a lot. We don't want a truck series. We don't want a wreck fest where only a couple cars finish the race. Because this track is going to be different. It's going to be. It's been 48 hours so far since nobody's been on the track. Over 48 hours, like in the
48
50th.
hours of jet dryers.
Yeah, you're just seeing the jet dryers go around the track. They've been
They turn more laps than the actual race.
Yeah, that's and some of the things are like shutting off the jet dryers. We need to go refuel them. They have to literally go refuel them many times. Yeah, this rain is like it's like that rain is like stubborn. They're like, no, we're keeping it on here.
All right. MotoGP had their 11th of 14 races in the World Championship. At this time, it was held in another Spanish facility, the Tyrrell Motorcycle Grand Prix in Alcañiz, Spain, as one of many makeup races in the 2020 championship. Franco Morbidelli for Yamaha, with the fastest lap, ended up winning the race, his second career win for Morbidelli, and it wasn't without some charges at the end. Alex Rins finished second. Here are the points finishers. Paul Espargaro, third. Johan Zarco, fourth. Miguel Oliveira, fifth. Paul Espargaro, fourth. Zarco, fifth. Oliveira, sixth. Maverick Vinales, seventh. Fabio Quartararo, who was riding injured, eighth. Akira Lacona, ninth. Daniela Petrucci, 10th. Cal Crutchlow, 11th. Stefan Bradl, 12th. Andrea Dovizioso, 13th. Tito Rabbit, 14th. And Bradley Smith, 15th. So congratulations on those points finishers, especially for the Aprilia bikers, as they finally managed to get some points in the World Championship this year. But as for the rider standings, John Mir leads that with 137 points. Second place, Fabio Quartararo. He lost the points lead, now 123 points. Time to catch up to the Suzuki rider. In third, Maverick Vinales, 118 points. Fourth, Franco Morbidelli, 112 points. And fifth, Andrea Dovizioso, 109 points. Alex Rins, sixth with 105 points in the top 10. Seventh place, Takaki Nakagami. Unfortunately, his first career pole was the first for a Japanese rider since 2004. But Nakagami did not even complete the first lap. Unfortunately, his bike swung off the first corner and out of the race. Just a sudden end to a very good weekend for the Honda rider. 92 points, 7th in the World Championship. And 8th, Paul Espargaro, 90 points. 9th, Jack Miller with 82 points. And 10th, Miguel Oliveira, 79 championship points. The manufacturer's standings, Yamaha, 208 points. Ducati, second, 171 points. Third, Suzuki with 163 points, and 20 points behind them. In fourth, KTM has 143 points. Honda still looking for that first win. They had 2 second-place finishes in the past 2 weeks and an 11th for their best rider on Sunday. They have 117 points. And Aprilia finally getting some points, finishing 15th, the last points-paying position without a retirement in a Grand Prix gives you a point. They got that spot. And now 36 points for Aprilia. They tried to catch up with some of the powerhouses of MotoGP. Now the team standings, the top 5, Team Suzuki X-Star, 242 points. Petronas Yamaha SRT, 235 points. Ducati Team, 180 points in 3rd. In 4th, Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP, 176 points. In 5th, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, 157 points. So a break, and then it's on to the end. It's a 3-week stretch to the finish after this off weekend. They will have the Grand Prix of Europe, the Gran Premio Mochil Valencia, both held at Circuit Ricardo Tomo in Valencia on the 8th of November and the 15th of November. So the next 2 weeks is 2 races held at Valencia. And then in Portimao on the 22nd of November, the Gran Premio de Portugal, the Portuguese Grand Prix, will wrap up the MotoGP World Championship on November 22nd. So 3-week stretch to the end, 2 at the same racetrack, and then that's the end of the 2020 MotoGP Championship. All the races held in Europe. So, yeah, game on. Now, one more race to cover before we preview these upcoming events. The ARCA West Series doubleheader this past weekend at All-American Speedway and at Kern County Speedway, 2 125-mile events. The first race, rounds 9 and 10 of 11. The first race, round 9, All-American Speedway. Gio Scalzi led only 2 laps to get his first win over Todd Souza.
Yeah.
Trevor Huddleston, Jesse Love, Blaine Perkins, Corey Heim, Taylor Gray, who had 16 laps led, spun, battling for the win on the final lap, finishing 7th. Jack Wood, 8th. Takuma Koga, 9th. Gracie Trotter, 10th. Bridget Burgess, 11th. Mason Diaz, 12th. After leading 7 laps, he retired from the race. And 13th, Bobby Hills Jr. out of the race.
Yeah, he did not even complete a lap. So he basically got a did not start. Yeah.
And in the second race, the Kern County 125, won by Taylor Gray, who redeemed and finally got that win after nearly winning it on the other night.
Yep.
He wins in Bakersfield, California, the penultimate race of the ARCA West Championship. He led 72 laps, not 172 laps. He only led 72 laps. And in second place was Mason Diaz, who led 23 laps. Blaine Perkins, 3rd. Trevor Huddleston finished 4th. Gracie Trotter, 5th. Kyle Keller, 6th. Todd Souza, 7th. Jesse Love, the points leader, who led 30 laps, finished 8th. Gio Scalzi, 9th. And Jack Wood, 10th. 11th place, Bobby Hills Jr., Takuma Koga, 12th. Joey East, 13th. Bridget Burgess, 14th. Holly Holland and Ryan Repko both retired from the race, finishing 15th and 16th. There is one more race in the championship standings. Jesse Love has 14 points ahead. Points ahead of Blaine Perkins.
Oof. Yep.
I mean, it's still a little too much of a gap compared to one race remaining, but it's not over yet.
Yeah.
How many cars enter the Phoenix race?
Yeah, which is on November 7th, which it's going to be interesting. Phoenix, a 1-mile oval. It's not like a typical oval where you expect usually turn 1. Yeah, and turn 3 and 4. That's where the start finish line is, and whereas the old 1 and 2, it's going to be an interesting race for those drivers.
Finishing second, or currently running second, is Blaine Perkins with 469 points. He's minus 14 points.
Yeah.
Still in the hunt.
Yeah.
But there's also another battle between two drivers. Teammates for third, Gracie Trotter and Gio Scelzi. 4 points apart for Bill McAnally Racing. Gio Scelzi, the Mike Curb entry.
Yeah.
Same team. And the Ian Nelson entry of Gracie Trotter. Battle for third. And then Trevor Huddleston is in fifth. The veteran, Todd Souza, another veteran, in sixth. And then the final 10 spots of the championship are, as we currently speak, Holly Holland, Takuma Koga, Bobby Hills Jr., and Bridget Bird, just your top 10. Just one more race at Phoenix on the 7th of November to the 11th, and final race of the ARCA West Championship.
Yep.
So aside from Martinsville, which we'll leave that for later, we'll cover the Xfinity Series and Truck Series penultimate race of the season, final race of the round of 8 for both series. The Martinsville 250 for Xfinity and the Truck Series Martinsville 200. Formula One, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, round 13 and 17, and 2 sports car races we'll be previewing this weekend. The IMSA Monterey Championship race at Laguna Seca, round 10 of 11, the final race of the sprint season for the IMSA WeatherTech Championship, and the European Le Mans Series season finale, 4 Hours of Portimao, the 5th and final round of the ELMS Championship in 2020. All right, so the NASCAR Xfinity Series Martinsville 250 has not been ran since 2006. It's the 32nd of 33 races of the season, and the final race in the round of 8, which will determine who is in the championship 4. Kevin Harvick won the last race back in 2006. And in 1982, Sam Ard won the first race in the inaugural organized championship season for the number 2 series, later known as the NASCAR Busch Series, and today, of course, the Xfinity Series. Sam Ard also has the most wins at Martinsville with 5 over Harry Gant, Jimmy Hensley, Tommy Houston, Brett Bodine, Tommy Ellis. So Gant and Hensley and Houston, they have 3 wins. Brett Bodine, Tommy Ellis, Morgan Shepherd, and Kenny Wallace, 2 wins, respectively. In the fall race, only 2 teams have won twice. Thomas Brothers Racing and Whittaker Racing, 2 defunct teams, scored 2 wins each. And in the fall race, for manufacturers, Pontiac has the most wins with 5 over Buick and Oldsmobile 3. Of course, they don't race in anymore. Chevrolet and Ford do. Chevrolet 2 wins and Ford 1 win. So there are the numbers. Obviously, the stats are completely irrelevant because it's been such a long time.
Yeah, because I was just looking at, there's only 6 drivers with stats here. Kevin Harvick, Boyer, Hamlin, Yaley, Sorensen, and Kyle Busch, and they're not even in the race. So, literally, there's no stats. There's stats for truck. Xfinity, you could just pick not anybody, because I know Carl Long was in that race, but that car's not fast. But this pick would be my pick. This guy's an interesting pick. This driver, he's ran some Xfinity races, but he's finished decent here in the Truck Series. This driver, he's running good in Xfinity. I'm just looking through the stats. This driver has ran 3 Martinsville races in the trucks. He has an average finish of 5.0. And I feel like this driver, he's driving for good equipment. He's not running for the poor equipment that he's been running for many races. This driver drives car number 21. Myatt Snyder is going to get career win number 1 at Martinsville.
Who won the Valley Star Credit Union 300 last year? No, Josh Berry.
Yeah, he led all 300 laps.
Right.
Well, he's not
I
in
have a
it.
feeling
So.
he's going to be in that race next year because he has a contract.
Next year. Yeah, but not this year. This year he's not there.
Right. And that's a good thing for the field. This driver has come so close to winning this entire season. He's, for some reason, sitting with a 0 on the wins column. He's done everything there is in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2020, but finished first and lead that final lap. That is Ross Chastain. He will redeem from Texas and be part of the Championship 4. And it's going to be a popular one. All right. Truck Series. Get into the Truck Series. At least we have some stats for this.
Yeah, because the Truck Series, the driver like in the Xfinity Series, you only had like Reed Sorensen, Yaley, which none of those 6 drivers are in the race. So stats are basically.
Well, the stats are there for trucks, and
trucks.
Yeah, it's 22nd of 23 races in the season. It'll be this Friday night, hopefully, depending on Fort Worth, Texas, if they comply with the requests of NASCAR fans, or are we just going to be sitting here with misty, rainy conditions and not race again, and then have to push the whole weekend over?
And it's just like people are still with the rain tires, which Terry Labonte tested with rain and rain tires at North Wilkesboro. North Wilkesboro is not that banked. He said even on the straightaways, not even going on the gas, the car would be loose. So with banking, the cars would do.
So
the cars would do slide down the banking.
All right, so round 22 23, the final race of the round of 8 will determine the final 4 drivers in the championship for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 drivers already locked in, those being Sheldon Creed and Brett Moffitt. But as far as Martinsville is concerned, here's some of the track stats. Last year's winners, Todd Gillen and Kyle Busch, completed a Kyle Busch Motorsports sweep. First race was the inaugural season in 1995, won by Joe Ruttman. Johnny Sauter has the most wins at Martinsville with 4 of them. 3 out of the 4 wins at Martinsville were in the last 3 years. Kevin Harvick, Dennis Setzer, and Mike Skinner share 3 wins at this track. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Matt Crafton, and Bubba Wallace have won twice at Martinsville in the trucks. As for the fall race is concerned, most team wins. You got to drive for Kyle Busch Motorsports. They have 6 wins there compared to Roush Fenway Racing, Bill Davis Racing, and GMS Racing, 3 wins each. Just 2 teams on that category are going to be active in the race this weekend, those being Kyle Busch Motorsports and GMS Racing. And as far as the fall racing manufacturer wins are concerned, Toyota owns this place. 11 wins in the fall race at Martinsville for Toyota over Chevrolet with 3, Ford with 2, and Dodge with 1. So if your name is Austin Hill, these stats are in your favor. But if your name is Johnny Sauter, you can just spoil the party for these championship contenders. Unlike the other series, Xfinity and Cup, even though Harrison Burton won the Xfinity race, throughout the entirety of the Truck Series playoffs, there are always non-playoff drivers posing a threat in the championship hunt, Justin.
Yep. Okay. I got my pick. This driver, he doesn't have the best stats. He has, in 5 starts, he has 1 top 10 and 4 top 20s, but some races like his worst finish was October 2014. He finished P32 after crashing with a driver that doesn't race anymore. He's not racing anymore in Truck Series since after 2016. My pick, this driver, he's a full-time Xfinity competitor, but he's running this truck race for this driver drives the number 51 Brandon Jones is going to win at Martinsville for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Brandon Jones. And that would be huge for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and that would help Kyle Busch Motorsports get closer to that Owners' Championship as well.
Yep.
You know, Chandler Smith's misfortune at Texas really didn't help the progress of that 51 truck.
And the crew chief, because the tire actually got loose. That's how he crashed. So, remember what Kyle Busch's the crew got suspended? That happens this race. So, Danny Stockman Jr. can't be there because of the suspension. So, Wes Ward, who's a experienced crew chief, who was crew chief last year for the 46 team, he's going to be the crew chief for this weekend and on the 51 team.
Right. Johnny Sauter.
Okay. Makes sense.
Is going to score his 5th win at Martinsville in the Truck Series. And it will be a very refreshing and just important moment for Sauter, because Johnny Sauter is not running the season he intended.
Yeah. He expected to be in the playoffs, contending for wins and all that. This year, it's not been the best season for him.
No. All right. Formula One. The Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, round 13 to 17, is the inaugural running of the Grand Prix at Imola. The Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, which is used to be called the San Marino Grand Prix for many years. And the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, as I mentioned, is one of the many replacement races during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, I said the word. YouTube might axe me.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think they'll find the channel. I don't think, because
no, we're not that big yet.
There's still channels that are verified, which they have there's a channel with 8 subscribers that's verified. Don't know how, but
YouTube says so. All right. But the last time that race was at this track was held was in 2006. Michael Schumacher won for Ferrari, and Michael Schumacher has the most wins there at Imola with 7 of them. Now, Imola was host of one of the darkest weekends of Formula One in 1994, when 2 drivers lost their lives, Roland Ratzenberger and the world champion Ayrton Senna.
Yeah,
which resulted in many changes in safety in Formula One, as well as track layout design that have switched to where it's at today. But Imola has really been a blueprint.
Yeah.
For many reasons. And I'm excited to see how Formula One will look like with the new cars, the new aero kit, and everything since 14 years ago in 2006.
Yeah. Which 2006 was the interesting. I remember people talking about San Marino, but most of the people were not talking about Schumacher's win or anything. Most people were talking about lap 1's incident.
Christian Clean incident?
Christian Albers.
Albers.
And Yuji Ide. That's how his super license got revoked. That's why he got... Yeah, that's why Takuma Sato was the better driver at Super Aguri F1 team. There's a reason why. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I just realized all these drivers currently racing in F1,
except for Kimi Räikkönen.
Raikkonen's the only one to race there. Nobody else. Yeah. That's interesting, because Lewis Hamilton, his rookie year was the next year in 2007. Yeah, Raikkonen's the only one. Nobody else has ran an F1 race at San Marino, like at the track. That's really interesting. But I'm not saying that Kimi's gonna win. Alfa Romeo is not fast. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Alfa Romeo is not it's not a rocket ship. No, it's not Mercedes. So, huh. Oh, I wonder who's gonna win. Oh my. Oof.
It's all variety.
I don't know how
Here's
crazy.
another question: will Mercedes clinch the World Constructors Championship?
I think they will. They have Bottas and Hamilton who are just always in the front. So that's not going to be hard for them to. The only way is if I don't think that. Well, people said Mercedes sabotaged Bottas at Nürburgring. I'm like, no, it happened. So I don't think Bottas will will have issues this time.
Be an opportunity for some of the other drivers and teams to keep up.
I know. I wonder if Ferrari will say we got new upgrades again and be. I don't think Ferrari's going to have much hope. They have some hope, but not a lot of hope. They just want to get points.
All right. As far as sports cars are concerned, I'll discuss the IMSA WeatherTech Championship penultimate race, the final race in the WeatherTech Sprint Cup Championship, which is part of the GT Daytona class for the sprint races only, around 10 of 11 of the overall season.
Yeah.
Last year, Cameron won. Pablo Montoya for Acura Team Penske won the race. First race at Monterey, California, the track where if you watch any movie that has a racing scene, there's a 90% chance Laguna Seca is track.
Yep. Yep.
Pete Levely won in 1957. It's the very first race. He drove a Ferrari 500 TR, just a classic car, and for a gentleman driver of his time. Now, as far as manufacturer wins are concerned, or constructor wins, Audi Sport North America 6 wins total. In manufacturer wins, Porsche 9 victories overall. I'm going to need an entry list to see who's in this one. And then the same for ELMS.
Yeah, there's still one LMP2 car entered. There, I just sent the link for the IMSA entry list.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's 28 overall, but LMP2 is going to be easy to pick.
Yeah.
One entry.
All right.
Yeah.
So 8 in LMP1, just 1 LMP2. I'm not LMP1, DPI.
Yeah.
1 for LMP2. 6 GTLM cars and 13 GT3s for the GT Daytona class.
Yeah.
All right. DPI pick. I'm gonna go with repeat winners. Dan Cameron won. Pablo Montoya. Acura Team Penske number 6 will finish position number 1.
Okay. My pick for DPI is the number 77 Mazda Motorsports Mazda, driven by Oliver Jarvis and Tristan Nunez.
All right. So I go for Acura, you go for Mazda. Mazda.
I was about to say we're not. I'm like,
No.
Mazda start getting.
So obviously, the only LMP2 car is the number 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry. You know, when the European Le Mans Series clashes and they're important about, everyone's going to be racing there. So plus, you have to prepare for Sebring, anyways.
Yeah, but like the 52, like if the 52 like didn't have the mechanical failure at Road Atlanta, they would have probably won.
Yeah,
Like that 52 is just so good for some reason when they're running,
especially in sprint races.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the international teams usually take care of business in the Michelin Endurance Cup. GTLM, you have 2 Corvettes, 2 Porsches, 2 BMWs. So your pick, Justin.
My pick for GTLM is the number. My pick is the number 3 Corvette Racing, Corvette C8R, driven by Antonio Garcia and Jordan Taylor.
Corvette usually does well in the sprint races.
Yep.
I'm going to pick these 2 drivers. They won the Spa 24 hours last week, or on Sunday. Earl Bamber, Lawrence Van Toren, number 912 Porsche GT team will win GTLM. And the GT Daytona class, which is essentially the FIA GT3 regulations, 13 of them overall. 13 of them make up 28 cars overall. So that's almost the entire half of the field.
I got my pick. My pick is the Meyer Shank Curve with Kurbagajani and Acura NSX GT3, driven by Mario Farnbacher and Matt McMurray.
All right. For me in GT Daytona, my pick will be the number 63 Scuderia Corsa Ferrari Cooper McNeil Alessandro Balzan.
Okay.
Livery. All right, and the last we'll predict the European Le Mans Series. 4 hours of Portimao. The 5th and final race of the European Le Mans Series Championship and the ELMS standings as well. As far as the race is concerned, who will win the 4 hours of Portimao? Well, the LMP2 class, 14 cars are there. 12 cars in the LMP3 category. 10 cars in the LMGTE class, which consists of privateer GTE cars that you usually see in the GTAM class, the World Endurance Championship, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Started with LMP2. Justin, you make the pick.
Okay, my pick is the number 20 I-Class Racing entry, driven by Anders Fordbach and Dennis Anderson.
And no, this is not Dennis Anderson, the monster truck driver.
No. This Dennis Anderson's from Denmark. Yeah.
All right.
It's not the same one that drives the monster truck.
Who else could win if this team and these two drivers are in the race, there is a 99.9% chance they're going to win.
It just depends if the
United Auto Sports number 22, Areca, driven by Phil Hansen and Philippe Albuquerque.
Well, we'll see what happens. Is
the championship, mind you.
Yeah, but the 32 could still win the race if they wanted to. That's the 32, the teammate car.
Dodgers home run.
Yeah.
Looks like the Dodgers are getting a little bit closer to winning World Series.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah, the Rays are literally choking. They had a lead and they're like, nope, we're gonna lose. Yeah, the Rays the Rays are really proving the choke.
All right. LMP3. Now, the championship isn't settled there yet. It is the number 2 United Auto Sports over the number 13 Inter-Europol competition, just 10 points apart. Number 8 Real Team Racing is third. Real Team Racing is 18 points behind the championship leading car, number 2 United Auto Sports, which have won 2 of the 4 races complete this year. The only non-podium has been a retirement at the second Le Castellet race. But as far as the race is concerned, what do you have?
My pick is the number 2 United Auto Sports entry driven by Wayne Boyd, Tom Gamble, and Robert Weldon.
I'm going to go with the same pick. Number 2, United Auto Sports will complete the LMP3 championship. Wayne Boyd, Thomas Gamble, Robert Weldon. United Auto Sports, British team with British drivers. They seem to do well this year.
Yep.
And lastly, just 10 cars in the LMGTE class. And consists of Ferraris and Porsches only.
Yep.
There are 7 Ferraris and 3 Porsches, which make 10 cars in the LMGTE class, and 36 cars overall in the race. I forgot to mention. Justin, let me hear your pick.
Okay, my pick is the number 93 Proton Competition Porsche, driven by Michael Fassbender, Philippe Laser, and Richard Leeds.
All right. Leeds. My pick for the LMGTE class. Now, this is a little tough. All right. Number 83, Iron Lynx Ferrari will win. They finished on the podium 3 out of the 4 races held this year. That car driven by Manuel Gostner, Michelle Gatting, and Ryle Frey. Iron Lynx number 83 Ferrari will win at last. All right. Now, the next question is, who will win the championship? Can Kessel Racing hold on? They have 81 points. They're first in the LMGTE championship. Second place is the number 77 Proton Competition, Porsche, 74 points. Third place, out of contention, is the Iron Lynx Ferrari number 83. But they do have a battle of their own. The number 55 Spirit of Race Ferrari is just 1 point behind with 52 points. There's also a battle for 5th in the driver in the LMGTE championship, the Proton Competition number 35 and the JMW Motorsport number 32. So I think the Kessel Racing Ferrari can hang on and win championship, but no mistakes. You can't win the race on the first lap, but you can lose it on the first lap, and we learned that many times in motorsports.
Yep.
All right. See some other news in motorsports. Rick Kelly, the 2006 Supercars champion, owner-driver for Kelly Racing, a team operated by Rick and his brother Todd, as well as the two-time Bathurst 1000 winner, who broke the record for youngest driver to ever win the Bathurst 1000 at the age of 20. Rick Kelly has called it a career. As a full-time driver, he will no longer race full-time in the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship, now called the Repco Supercars Championship. So congratulations on the great career. Sports car racing's greatest weekend will be on the weekend of November 14th and 15th of 2020. However, that third race, which was the 24H Series finale, the 12 Hours of Zandvoort, has been relocated to Mugello for the 12 Hours of Mugello, and new car classes will be allowed for specs such as customized prototypes. Keep an eye for that. The 24H Series race at Zandvoort has a low turnout due to conflicts that took place. Obviously, the biggest conflict is the 12 Hours of Sebring and the 8 Hours of Bahrain happening on the same weekend. It's a very rare sight to see sports car series like IMSA and the WEC clash, but they had to.
Yeah, they couldn't control it because, like, the reason that the WEC race got moved up, F1 Bahrain, F1 had two races at Bahrain with the normal course and then the outer course. F2 was there for Bahrain. Like, they couldn't.
It's only practical to keep them together.
And there's other people saying, why couldn't they put Bahrain farther down the schedule?
They seem to move on and think about 2021.
But people don't forget that
there are cars to be built here.
Also, F1, their final race is on December 13th at Abu Dhabi. F2 doesn't race at Abu Dhabi for this season, but F1, their finale's at Abu Dhabi like normal, which people are like, no, Abu Dhabi's a bad track. Well, I know people don't like Abu Dhabi, but I've seen worse racetracks than Abu Dhabi.
2020 is bizarre.
Yes.
Think about it. 2020, the first thing that happened in motorsports in 2020, the shortest 24-hour race. The 24 hours of Dubai only lasted 7 hours because of flooding.
Yeah.
And
Kyle Larson won.
Kyle Larson finally won the Chili Bowl, only to get himself axed after.
Yep. Ryan Newman crashing.
And then 500.
Like, there's so many different. Yes. Like
19.
Everything 2020, and then Timmy Hill won an iRacing event, which that was interesting.
He won like 300 other iRacing events.
I remember it's like people are like, I remember that one time, like the first iRacing event on TV. I remember during Homestead, Daniel kept laughing because Garrett Smithley was leading, and we're like, they have the same amount of
the same car. That's essentially like Formula 2.
Yeah, it's not like they're in real life where Rick Ware, you just see the cars get lapped. Yeah, this year's been interesting. Now Texas's weather's not cooperating. That mist is like just falling.
We have never seen a race schedule for Sunday.
It's pushed to
Tuesday after 2 attempts to distract. And this is Texas of all places. They're not supposed to get this kind of weather yet.
Oh, that's usually up in the northern part. We're in the south.
Maybe they are getting Buffalo, New York weather, like
What?
April Buffalo, New York weather.
Hopefully Phoenix isn't. If Phoenix has bad weather, I'm gonna be questioning everything. If Phoenix has
It's
rain,
2020, so get ready. We
And
saw, 2015 was a precursor to
what's
that.
next? What's next? The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Bahrain Grand Prix rain? If that happens, there's something wrong because that's in the desert.
On December 31st, when it's 11:59 and everyone's counting down, it's going to become 11:60 p.m.
Or
That's
people.
a meme. That's a meme I saw on.
I remember that
Facebook.
one time. It was May 28th, going to May 29th, where I was. I remember people were celebrating outside. You're like New Year's in May. Yep, interesting year.
Alright. I think it's bedtime.
Yeah,
Tomorrow, the NASCAR race better happen.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock in your time.
For me, it's almost 12:30 a.m.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you up any further.
And also, people, tune in and tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern at NBCSN. Watch it. If hopefully the rain just moves out of the area. Hopefully. Just don't say rain moves out. You just don't jinx yourself.
Massive shout out to those track workers who are out there in this weather, constantly driving around that track, doing whatever they can to keep it dry.
Yeah.
No matter how reluctant the weather will be and will continue to be. This is just bizarre. Hey, luckily this didn't happen when NASCAR racing happened on Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, multiple midweek races that we had. That was the biggest nightmare. If anything, you're lucky that this situation happened after made-up races were complete.
Yeah, I remember the made-up races were all like different dates. Like Martinsville was on a Wednesday, and you had 2 homestead races for Xfinity. It was so like weird seeing the midweek races, and when Ryan Preece on the pole at Darlington,
that was eerie. Say, hey, Ty Dillon. Hey, someone. I mean, I don't even think you can paint. You can change the paint on a car that started a race, but I think it's too late to get a hump date paint scheme on the Geico car. Just one more time.
Yeah,
sent off at the end of the year.
I remember on the Wednesdays that paint scheme. I'm like, wow, like those races were. I remember those inversions, the top 20 inversions, which
so weird at first.
Like Ryan Preece on the pole, like this. At least it was not some back marker like BJ McLeod on the pole. Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching episode 82A of the Bully Line podcast. We'll be back to recap Texas whenever the race ends. We'll stay posted. Just keep in touch with our social. Yeah. And have a good night.
Yeah.